Hello out there in cryptocurrency land. Welcome back to Real Crypto, where we take the markets one leg at a time while keeping the market cycle in mind. And it's been a while actually since I talked about my Slack chat room. I keep forgetting to pump it up. If you guys are interested in a really good quality chat room with some pretty decent people and really a no BS chat room, we do have a lot of fun, but it's really about crypto trading, long term, short term. We run a bunch of ideas back and forth. It really is a good time. Feel free to go to my website, real-crypto.com. You can sign up on the front page there. Go ahead and fill out this form. Subscribe. You'll get a link in your email address. Now, I don't spam you with anything. I've actually never sent anything out through this particular newsletter form thing, so don't worry about that. And let's get talking a little bit about BTC and current price action. Just had an interesting event happen in Bitcoin. So taking a little step back, and let's look at the daily chart before we actually talk about the immediate price action. So it's kind of funny, in the power hour, we were, up here, and we came up here, we had these big candles, and then we came back down, came up and put in a lower high. We're like, okay, well, now we could potentially have, what kind of patterns could we have? Like, well, we do have a trend line here. We could end up putting in a parallel trend line here, which is usually what I do on the log scale chart. It gets weird like that. Don't worry about that. But anyway, come on, delete. There you go. The trend line ends up looking like this, or similar to this. You could argue it's like that. But anyway, you can see Bitcoin's been stuck in that same trading range this entire way down, pretty much all the way down. Once we had a couple of lows here, I do adjust these trend lines, and I kind of raised it to respect price action just a little bit more. And you can see, if you give up just a little bit here, you can encapsulate these lows over here. So Bitcoin's been firmly stuck in this range for a long time. And I think the low that we've just put in here basically puts the bottom in, again, for the range. I don't think there could be a possibility this ends up being the low that breaks us out, but nothing down here at the moment really signifies that. There's nothing as of yet saying this is the ultimate low. The only thing that you may have on your side is a support here at the spike, but I'm not necessarily... That's not something I firmly believe at this moment in time. But regardless, if you go down to the shorter term time frames, the intraday time frames, there's a pretty clear inverted head and shoulders on the screen here. And we've been discussing this inverted head and shoulders. We had the pop up here the other day. We came down, we started putting in this channel, and then we started talking about, okay, maybe we're going to get an inverted head and shoulders. And this is actually the little mark that I drew. So not too bad. Not too bad. Sometimes I'm on point. This one was a little bit off. It's actually funny because a lot of the scholars in the inverted head and shoulders community say they should be the same distance apart. They should come down to the same level, all that good stuff. These were pretty close. That was 214. This was 26. So you could argue that's a hit. I'm going to argue that's a hit. So maybe I should have had it like this. But anyway, I loosely drew it where it was. So we came down, formed the inverted head and shoulders pattern. Bounced really hard out of that and really rallied through the neckline with a quickness, which is good. That's what you want to see. You want to see some buying momentum stepping in. One thing before I talk about that, I do want to mention the volume signature on the head and shoulders pattern here is normal with a head and shoulders volume signature. Most patterns have a volume signature of declining from left to right. Most of them. This one does. Higher volume on the left low, a little bit less volume on the middle low, and less volume on the right low, and that's exactly what we have here. So, and also explosive breakout once we actually break through. So this is very classical inverted head and shoulders patterns. And with an inverted head and shoulders, you get a target. This is my target line. It's pretty easy to get the target from an inverted head and shoulders. You simply take the low up to the neckline, which that looks like I'm slightly underneath of it. Close enough. And then you can just move that line over to the neckline break. Now this particular situation has a horizontal neckline. Not all of them are horizontal. Let's say this one was slanted like this. You would actually move this to the break point like that to get your target. Or wherever it broke. If it broke over here, if it breaks sooner. But you get the general picture here. So this implied target takes us, I forget where it is, 8250 give or take. So 8250 give or take here. And as you can see, I'm going to zoom out well within this channel range. So a completion of this inverted head and shoulders pattern, very simple. It's actually funny if you see these little things here. Look at this. I thought this was kind of interesting. I was kind of asleep when this happened, when this finally broke out. But if you notice, at the tip of this inverted head and shoulders pattern is a little mini inverted head and shoulders. How cute. Just a cute little guy with a sloped neckline. Thought that was kind of funny. Yeah, so this pattern, sloped neckline, that's kind of where it found resistance, is right up near that target area. Then we eclipsed it. So maybe we'll do something similar to that. It's kind of hard to tell. But Bitcoin on its way to at least filling out this channel. That's what I think it's doing. I think it's going to fill out the channel. We'll revisit when we get back up there. And yeah, we'll talk about that every day between now and then during my power hour. So, yeah, there's that. Now, if you've been paying attention to the market holistically, you'll notice that most of the top altcoins have a head and shoulders pattern. It's kind of interesting. Usually, you don't always have the same pattern. It's a little intriguing here that you do, though. I'm not quite sure what to make of that, but if we do break out from here, even through this top trend line in BTC, through this guy up here, you could probably say that maybe the whole market as a whole putting in the same pattern could loosely be a signal that there's some accumulation happening down here. So you can see Ethereum, right? So this one also with a slanted neckline. I haven't gone ahead and done a target on this one. So through the neckline right there, that takes you to the 170 level. One thing about this can easily get up here. So one thing I talk about significantly is breakdown points. Wherever the market tends to really start accelerations from up to the upside, to the downside, you're likely to find some resistance or support at those areas. They're not something that's typically taught. It's just something I've noticed. It's something I've noticed by looking at, I don't know, by this time, millions of charts. I have no idea how many charts I've looked at. But you can see whenever we find breakdown points, you're going to find some support or resistance in a lot of times. So that would still put us under that. So I would say that's firmly viable for Ethereum. XRP, kind of a Quasimodo inverted head and shoulders pattern. Not much going on here. It could be a reversal, though. There's a pretty clear, and that's not really the trend line I'm looking for. It's probably more of like a very slight curl. Very, very slight curl. You see the range broken right there. So this isn't really a trend line break. This is actually momentum shift. This is what I call a change in behavior. Change in behaviors can go on to form. I was actually looking at this trend line right there. Changes in behavior can go on to change behavior. If you're moving down, you can move sideways or up. If you're moving up, you're likely topping. If you're moving choppy, you're likely going to go on to break in whichever direction it's implying. So here, what you have is kind of a spike low with a high volume candle in XRP, likely to change behavior into choppy or upside action. Right now, loosely to the upside, but we'll see how it goes. Litecoin, inverted head and shoulders. What do you know? Neckline right there, 47.35 alert level. And again, kind of a small target. These targets aren't huge, unfortunately. This one only gets you up here, still below the breakdown point, which is there at about the 54 level. Bitcoin Cash, kind of something similar. Loose head and shoulders pattern. Target, going to be up here, kind of, again, near the breakdown point, or a breakdown point. This one kind of loosely has 2, maybe 3 breakdown points, but that's a pretty big base, so that would be a fairly definitive breakdown point. Both of these, though, would qualify. And past that, things just get a little bit less quality. So there you go. The market is a little bit bullish. We're probably going to run for a little while here. I think a failure at this point would be fairly catastrophic for the chart. And I think if we break this channel, that would just be detrimental and we would really, really break down. On the daily chart of BTC, what you see here is a situation where we've been stuck in the channel. It's been moving down. We've seen a couple of, these are likely short coverings, actually, based on the percentage, down about 46%. That's about right for a BTC drop. It's a little extended, but it's still within kind of normal ranges, I guess. So some short covering there is manageable. Some short covering here could be manageable as well, but a significant rollover. What you don't want to see is this. You don't want to start to see a cascade effect on the daily chart. You don't want this. You want to eclipse this, essentially. So if you can see here, it loosely follows this structure. Give up a little bit of wick right here, but it just cascades down ever so slightly. And if that rolls over, that could get very, very difficult very quickly. And we're still underneath that. So if we break through that, I think that's the best case scenario, in which case this type of a thing doesn't happen, and then we can just chop around for a little while longer. So all right, guys, well, thanks for joining me today. That's all I'm going to talk about is BTC basically bottoming, potentially bouncing up here. we'll see where it goes from there. If you guys do like what I do here, I do the same thing every single day in my Real Crypto Power Hour. You can go ahead to the real-crypto.com website, click the services section, and as part of the Power Hour, we do have an alert system. So we actually look at about 200 coins every single day, and I activate alerts on those as needed. I should say update those as needed. And we go through the top 20 coins and a bunch of other stuff as well. So thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it. Feel free to check out the website and hit subscribe if you do like the content. So thanks, guys. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you next time.